When you are in a vibration of resistance, you cannot hear the vibration of non-resistance in its pure form any more than you can set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98 FM. The frequencies have to match up. So when you hear the call of anger, oh, you go there. We've watched you. We love it. And then those around you take you to anger management seminars because they don't get that you're moving up the emotional scale. They haven't figured it out that you're closing the vibrational gap between where you are and what you've really become. And you know what? You've got to close that gap in order to feel joy. You cannot live experience which causes an expanded version of you and stay apart from the expanded version and be happy. You must keep up with what life has caused you to become. Your dear friends, they are well-meaning. Most of them. There's just that one that isn't. But most of them are very well-meaning. Your well-meaning friends see you moving into your rage from your depression or into your anger. And they liked you better when you were in depression. And from their point of view, we understand that. You were easier to deal with when you were depressed. You stayed in your room. You didn't bother anybody. But now you're out there flapping in everybody's face. You're harder to deal with. But you feel better, don't you? Admit it. Doesn't anger feel a whole lot better than depression? It does. And the reason it does is, when you think about it, is because in that depression, you were feeling powerless. And in your anger, you took some of your power back. You began projecting what you want somehow mentally, didn't you? When you get into blame, you're sort of rolling. And what we want you to understand is that as you are moving up this emotional scale, you can't get to joy from depression, not all at once. Joseph Campbell gave you the best words ever when he said, follow your bliss. But sometimes you can't get a whiff of bliss. And so we say, follow your bliss. And on the trail, on the way to the path of bliss, you may very well find rage and revenge and anger and depression will not be part of your path once you've made it that far. Once you make it from depression all the way into anger, if you've done it deliberately, and if you can personally acknowledge how much better your anger feels than your depression felt, you want to open the window so you can yell at somebody, but you want to open the window. In other words, you feel better when you get mad. So when you go home and you say, well, I went to an enlightened seminar and someone who claims to be non-physical energy said I should just get mad. Most people would say you're in the wrong meeting. And we say, if you were feeling frustration and we encouraged you to anger, that would be bad advice, because we would be encouraging you to move back down the emotional scale. But if you are in depression and we encourage you to rage, you're moving in the right direction. As Jerry and Esther are traveling across the desert, they go from Phoenix to San Diego often, so eager to get to San Diego. They love to be in San Diego. And as they're heading out across the desert, they never get halfway out there in the desert around Yuma and then get disoriented because they are so frustrated or upset that they're not yet in San Diego that they lose their way and turn around and go back to Phoenix. Can you imagine what a long journey that would be? Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma. And in time they would say, San Diego is an impossible dream. It is incurable. And we say nothing is incurable. Nothing is impossible. You just got to point toward what you want and keep moving in that direction. And of course, it's easy with a situation like being in a car driving across 400 miles across the desert. That's not hard to tell which way is west. And your logic says, keep going and I'll get there. But we see you sometimes in sickness wanting to go to wellness well along your way because you're beginning to feel hopeful. And vibrationally speaking, you're almost up to speed with that which is waiting for you in your vibrational escrow. Do you know that when you got sick, and even before they diagnosed it, all along that path to sickness, you were launching rockets of desires about wellness, and a vitally well person is waiting for you in vibrational escrow? But you've got to be a vibrational match to that. You can't keep beating the drum of what the X-ray says. You can't keep beating the drum of the feedback that you're getting about where you are. Can you imagine Magellan saying to Jerry and Esther, "We've taken the test and we are so sorry to tell you that you are in Yuma. We had hoped something so much better for you. We have checked with all of the others who have calculated the route in exactly the same way, and the consensus of all this brilliance is that it is absolute. You are in Yuma. You've got a tumor. It's incurable. You've got cancer. You can't make money." In other words, you've been getting so much feedback from those who are giving you maybe accurate feedback about where you are, but where you are does not mean diddly squat. Where you are is only where you are. Where you're going is what matters, and we want to put it to you in a way that you will really hear it. It's not where you're going, it's where the larger part of you has already gone. In other words, if the larger part of you had not already gone over there, you wouldn't feel bad about not having taken the rest of you with it. You see what we mean? If someone you did not know called you on the telephone and said, "Hello, you don't know me. I'm just calling to tell you I will never call you again." You would say, "All righty then." But if someone you love and care about were to call and tell you that, you'd have a different emotional response to it. So the point that we're making is, unless life has caused you to become something, there will not be a gap. If you don't want it, there's no gap. If you are satisfied where you are about anything, then there's no reason for you to be called anywhere. And there isn't anything wrong with being satisfied with where you are, but one thing that we have to tell you, we've never known anyone in that state of being. Because the contrasting experiences of life cause you to continue to become, you see. So we call this gathering the art of allowing. And what it really means is the art of allowing the fullness of who you are and who you have become to be. So if life has caused you to put things in vibrational escrow and you have not yet allowed yourself to become a vibrational match to them, then you are undoubtedly feeling the vibrational discord of not now being up to speed with who you have become. We want you to understand that you're not ever going to catch up with it, because what happens is contrast causes you to launch a desire. Then you focus upon it and think about it and find vibrational alignment with it. And as you close that gap by holding your thoughts toward what you want instead of looking at the absence of it, you become a vibrational match to it, and then it must manifest in your experience. Law of attraction says that it must. Law of attraction is responding to the signal that you are offering. So if you want something, but you have something different, what law of attraction is responding to is where your vibration is along that continuum. So if you want more money than you have, what's manifesting is what law of attraction is acknowledging is your dominant vibration on the subject. Makes sense, doesn't it? So if I don't have as much money as I want or need, that's because I'm giving more attention to not enough money. And in doing so, I'm activating the thought until it's a dominant vibrational offering, until it's the easiest thing for me to think about this subject. And law of attraction is giving me the full manifestation feedback on where my dominant vibration is. Everything in your life that you are living is giving you feedback about where your vibration is and has been on every subject in the world. We call that post-manifestational awareness. It could be pre-manifestational awareness if you cared about how you feel. When you start caring about how you feel, and you start closing that gap, not because you're trying to get to the new red car or to the beautiful new lover or to the whatever. As you start closing that vibrational gap just because it feels better to close the gap, what begins to happen to you is you begin to clean up your vibration pre-manifestation. And then manifestations start flowing into your experience in great abundance. They do anyway. You get what you think about, whether you want it or not. There is no exclusion in this universe. This is a universe based on vibration, which means when you look at that thing you want and you say yes to it, you are including it in your vibration and it's on the way. When you look at that thing you do not want and you shout no at it, you're actually saying yes to this thing that you do not want because you are including it in your vibration. There's no such thing as no in a vibrational-based universe. There's only attention to the subject, the activation of a vibration, which law of attraction is then responding to. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. Nothing is off limits. It will unfold nicely. You will see what a perfect unfolding it is. Because, you see, this gathering gathered before you dragged your physical bodies here. The vibrational essence of who you are is already understood and has already been chewed upon by the broader non-physical part of you. And so now, in a very wonderful co-creative dance, we will, through a series of questions and answers, help you to receive fully the answer to everything that is important to you, provided you are somewhere in the vibrational proximity of receiving the answer. The reason that we babble on and on a little bit at the beginning here is because as you listen to us, we speak that which you know at so many levels of your being. And as you hear us, you cannot help but begin to activate the true essence of who you are. You are source energy in physical bodies, and life is supposed to be good for you. You are supposed to be able to decipher through your perusal of this time-space reality all kinds of things that are of interest to you. And as you do that, source energy will assist you in the full manifestation of them. For this we know. If this time-space reality has the ability to inspire a desire within you, this time-space reality has the ability to give you full manifestational results of that desire. You're supposed to get everything you want. The good news is, as you get it, you can then reevaluate. In other words, once you get all of the cars you thought you wanted, and you have a hard time keeping the oil turned over in all of them, you can release some of them. We suspect that someday we will be having seminars on de-manifestation. Because once you get the hang of this, you only have to focus a little bit in the direction of that which you are wanting. Once you get to the place where you are really living the art of allowing meaning becoming a vibrational match to who I have become, because I care about how I feel, and I'm willing to jockey my thoughts around, moving ever closer to something that is a vibrational match to who I am. There are a couple of things that are essential to your making immediate progress and having outrageous success with this. Most important, you have to decide, and we encourage it as quickly as you can. It'll be easy in some cases and not so easy in others. But here it is. Are you ready? You have to decide that you do not give a rip what anybody else thinks. Because when you try to factor in what they think, then you lose your proximity on your emotional guidance scale. You have within you guidance that is based upon source energy, that is giving you feedback precisely based upon where you are in relationship with what your life has told source energy that you want. It cannot get better than that. So, we want to show you how to follow your bliss, and if we have to take a little rampage through rage, so much the better.